from each happily ever after, every wish upon a star. Let's break down the movies that shaped who we are, from memory lane to now and everything in between. The most famous of films to the ones we've never seen. Decade by decade, all the times we laughed and cried, and with a little pixie dust, they will all take flight, reliving the feelings, and we're trying our very best. And if they mean the same to you, please be our guest. So hop aboard, we would love to have you as we hang with a certain mouth, the whole gang too. If you love nostalgia stuff, we hope this does the trick. Thanks for joining us as we deep dive the magic.
Hi, and welcome back to the Deep Diving Magic Podcast. I'm KJ.
And I'm Jeffrey. And we are back with the 85th Disney feature-length film from October the 18th in the year 1967. We are here with the animated classic film, The Jungle Book. The Jungle Book, if you did not know, is loosely based on the Mowgli stories from Rudyard Kipling's 1894 book of the same name. There will be some, like a couple, multiple remakes to come on our deep dive journey in different ways. Jungle Book is the final animated classic to be worked on and produced by Walt Disney. And most importantly, this is my father's favorite Disney film. But before we dive too deep into the animated classic that is The Jungle Book, would you like to start us off with a synopsis or some opening facts?
Sure. Bagheera the panther and Baloo the bear have a difficult time trying to convince a boy to leave the jungle for human civilization.
There you go. What do you got? Some thoughts? Some facts? You want to save the facts for when we get to that part in the thing, or what are your thoughts?
I probably can. And then I can probably just hit on the other facts, I guess, towards the end.
Okay.
I mean, you've already talked about Walt Disney. He died during the production of this, but he actually did have his hands involved in this, and I did have that. This is the 19th animated feature in the Disney canon.
Okay.
Can
you name them all? Go.
No. Can you?
No.
Okay.
How many do we have on the list? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 on our list. So go ahead.
Okay. It was the last to be personally supervised by Walt Disney and the last Disney animated feature of the 1960s.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first film the studio released after Disney's death in 1966.
Animated film.
Yes. And it was dedicated to his memory.
Yep. You ready for me to dive right in, or?
Well, I did find something about, so the person that wrote the book,
Rudyard Kipling.
I guess Mowgli was actually the daughter's name.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently from the tidbits I found, she never forgave Disney because her name is not pronounced Mowgli. It's pronounced Mowgli.
Oh, well, there you go. Walt Disney just upsetting people for their books, kind of like in Mary Poppins.
Yeah, according to Elise Kipling, daughter, I guess Mowgli. Okay, so it was not the daughter's name. Sorry, it was, the pronunciation was supposed to be Mowgli instead. It was supposed to rhyme with cow, not go like Mowgli, like we say it now.
But when you mow your lawn, it's spelled exactly the same way. So
tit for tat, I guess. Anyway, I guess the rest of it I can probably hit on when we get there.
Cool. So, like many animated classics, we start off with a storybook open with some iconic music. During the opening credits. We see a village and a forest that's animated beautifully. It is narrated by Bagheera, like you mentioned earlier. Bagheera is what kind of animal?
A panther.
Yep. So the panther,
Which is actually very funny. Somewhere in my trivia notes, because when I found them, they were not all in there. But the animals actually were named after what their Hindu name was.
Yeah.
So,
kind of like some.
kind of, yes. So it was the Hindi words for their species. Baloo comes from, I'm not even going to try to pronounce these names, but obviously for a bear. Ka, the snake, and then was actually onomatopoeia for, I guess, how a snake sound, like the hiss of a snake. And then Bagheera actually is from Bag, I guess, which means tiger, and Shere Khan means something like chief of tigers.
Makes sense.
So Bagheera's name is technically a spinoff of Tiger, but yes.
Oh, okay, so we're animated by Bagheera. We meet Bagheera.
But he's not really. Is he a panther?
I have no idea. That's why I asked you.
I think he.
I think he's a panther because they're afraid of the tiger that's coming later. He wouldn't be afraid of a tiger. He was a tiger.
No, but when we watched the earlier animal documentaries, there was one about the jaguars, and they lived in India in the jungle,
No.
which would make more sense than a panther.
I didn't write the book, but
And there were black jaguars, but if you looked close, they had spots.
I think he's a panther. But yeah.
Well, I want to know.
So Bagheera is the the narrator of the film. He says that many strange legends are told in these jungles of India. We then hear a baby crying in a basket. All right over there.
Yeah, I thought I heard Winston, but now I see him, so I wasn't sure what he was into.
So speaking of hearing things, we hear a baby crying in a basket. We realize that it's a man cub. And Bagheera, what's that?
We realize it's a man cub. I don't think we would have called it a man cub.
Well, they refer to it as a man
I
cub.
know they do, but
it's a man cub. So it's a human. It's a man baby.
Mhm.
It's a cub of a man. I don't. What's so funny?
A man baby.
Am I wrong?
No.
So they Bagheera decides that they're going to drop the man cub off to a new family of wolves. The family takes in the man cub, and it takes the baby in as one of their own. Mm-hmm. And then and then it cuts to saying that 10 times the rains have come, so 10 Disney storms. And then we meet the man cub is now older, and we learn that the man cub's name is Mowgli.
Mowgli, really?
As you stated earlier, well, it is Mowgli in this film.
Mowgli.
No, Mowgli. So Mowgli is now older. 10 rains have come. He lives with the wolf. The wolf pack meets together in a council one night to discuss that the tiger Shere Khan is returning, and the man cub can no longer stay with the pack. That's correct?
Yep.
Bagheera knows of a man village where Mowgli will be safe. But Mowgli wants to stay in the jungle. But we learn that, Shere Khan hates man. So he can't stay, otherwise it'll be harming for himself. Do you have any notes so far or anything that you wanted to add on this? The plot line here.
The only thing that I have thus far would be during the animation, Shere Khan's stripes proved to be a nightmare for the animators that were working on him.
Yeah. Shere Khan doesn't come into the film till like super late too.
Yeah, for the animation. And I don't know, like as a child, I felt like he was on the screen more.
No, he's not. He's barely in the movie.
Yeah.
He's terrifying though.
So it kind of makes me wonder, am I thinking back on like the remakes?
No.
Because he's not really in those either either, right?
No. There's only two remakes, and I'm sure you didn't see one of them. So
no, like the live action and stuff.
Yeah, that we watched that a couple years ago.
Yeah, but
And then there's
Don't they
Ruggiero
like
taking his time.
show him at some point?
I don't know.
Like you kind of see him in the background or
We'll get
something
there
in
in many
those,
years.
but Yep.
It is terrifying though. But this film's also super short.
True.
Blink twice and it's over. But we know what's going on. He wants to stay in the forest or in the jungle, and the animals want him to go back to the man village because for his own health, for his own safety.
Mhm.
Makes sense. All right. So then, on their journey, they have to stop to sleep for the night. Bagheera and Mowgli. So they go up into a tree, and then in that tree, we meet a very sneaky snake with a very Winnie the Pooh voice, named Kaa, obviously voiced by the same character, same person. Kaa has these hypnotizing eyes. You want to talk about Kaa?
So as a child, I really, really, really disliked Kaa.
With those
But
eyes,
but
he has a.
now I don't
Yeah.
know, like I paying attention as an adult, I guess I do enjoy him only for the fact that at one point I felt like I had Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin sitting in the tree together. Like if you close your eyes,
he's
you can
definitely like
I don't picture the Jungle Book characters when I close my eyes. I only picture the Winnie the
it's
Pooh
definitely
characters.
like he's a whole lot less alarming when you just think it's Winnie the Pooh talking. But so he has these eyes that hypnotize his prey before he attacks them. Kaa attacks and strangles the man cub, but then Bagheera finds out and protects him, stops him. Kaa says that he made a very serious, stupid mistake, but Mowgli knocks him out of the tree before he can hypnotize Bagheera.
So the other thing about Kaa that was different is in the film, he is obviously what you see, he attacks him or whatever. But in the book, his intentions are a little suspect, but he helps rescue Mowgli from the monkeys, where he never does that here. So he kind of seems a little bit more helpful. And in the book, unlike the other characters, Mowgli is actually immune to the hypnotizing eyes, where he's not and he's not like bent on eating him like he was in the movie.
Well, they they survive Kaa for now. Bagheera is very unhappy with Mowgli. He's not like the whole interaction. He makes it known that he's upset. Like he's like I'm just trying to help you get to the man village. Mowgli wants nothing to do with it. And then so they decide that they're going to go to bed. But then the next morning, everything starts to shake. The whole tree shaking, the whole ground shaking. And this is where we meet the family of elephants. They are parading in a dawn patrol, so like in military style. They're singing the military style song, and it's like this whole herd of military elephants. Mowgli falls in line behind the baby elephant, but then the military chief, like the head of the elephants, catches the man cub, causing Bagheera to have to come to the rescue again. And he says that, remember that elephant never forgets. Anything to say about our elephant friends?
Yes. So Winifred is is the only female animal to have any dialogue throughout the entire film. Although Raksha, I might be butchering her name, the mother wolf appears at the beginning. She never actually speaks.
She's a key part though.
Yeah. And what? There was another thing about the mom.
She doesn't put up with any crap.
No, she doesn't put up with any crap. I don't know. I guess my notes are just gonna freeze on me today. Technology is not my friend.
Well, while you're looking it up, they march in line like after they leave Mowgli, but then they realize that they left the baby behind. And the baby stayed with Mowgli, so they like the elephants like abruptly stop, turn around. It causes like a pile up. I wrote down that's like a giraffic jam. But go ahead.
So Winifred the elephant is voiced by Verna Felton, and it was her last role before her death. in December 14th, 1966,
Mhm.
one day before Walt Disney himself died. And her first role in an animated Disney film was also of an elephant. She was the elephant matriarch in Dumbo in
There you go.
1941. I thought that was
The
a
nice
cool
one.
little tidbit that you
There's
might
a
want
lot
to
of
know.
not nice elephants in that movie.
Of course.
Bagheera does not find this as funny as Mowgli does. Um, so that he's like, I'm bringing you back to the village. Mowgli fights more. He doesn't want to go back to the village, like I said.
Mhm.
So Bagheera's like, fine, do it on your own. I'm leaving you. I've given you your best shot. Whatever. Um, so then Bagheera angrily leaves him alone. This is where the first time that we see some reused footage. We want to talk about some reused footage in this film
Um,
because there's a ton of it.
yeah. It's
So while
maybe
she's looking
maybe
while
I
she's looking
didn't
it up,
write it down, but it was like from several films. So like
previous
Sword
films,
of
yeah,
the Stone, 101 Dalmatians. I'm trying to think of the other ones that I saw on there.
big from Sword of the Stone for sure.
Yeah, there was definitely a bunch of
Reanimated animation,
redone things
yeah.
where they just kind of recycled some things. Um,
Okay, that's fine.
not
So just watch it. You'll know what I'm talking about. We then meet a very jubilant bear named Baloo. Baloo comes across Mowgli. Baloo then roars, which causes Bagheera to nervously return, but they're just playing around because Baloo is ticklish. Would you like to talk about Baloo? Speaking of our ticklish animals, I think Faye has joined the party. Would you like to talk about Baloo?
yeah. So Baloo is a sloth bear.
He is right here in this picture for
Yeah.
those watching the video while Faye tries to join us
Yes.
for the first time in forever.
For the first
time.
Don't just leave us. Thanks. Yeah, so he's a sloth bear. So when I was doing some research on it, it was some people had questions about why is there a bear in the jungle? But the sloth bear and the sun bear, I think was the two, are actually native to India, which is technically where this film takes place.
Mhm. So, he's a fun-loving goofball who wants to look over Mowgli. He says that Baloo tells Bagheera that the man village will ruin Mowgli. They'll make a man out of him.
Mhm.
Baloo then offers to take care of him, and this is where they break into the famous and critically acclaimed "Bare Necessities" song that
Mhm.
everybody knows. It's right here on this record, right next to us. Anything to add on that?
Yes. So, Baloo and Bagheera from the movie to the book are completely reverse roles. So in the book, Baloo is the more like strict, like we've got to do it this way, kind of character. Where in the movie, that's Bagheera, and in the book, Bagheera was the more easygoing character, which
Really?
I find that weird. Like I thought about that, and I was like, I couldn't imagine the roles reversed.
Well,
Like I think that would be different. Maybe we should read the book.
Well, we will be watching in the '90s. There's like an adaptation made, like a Rudyard Kipling's one.
Yeah.
That's on Disney, so we'll get there.
Ironically, before it was done, I did have in my notes, since we're talking about the book, because of the disappointed by the reception that The Sword and the Stone got, Walt Disney was determined to make a comeback with a universally well-regarded film. So he told his animation crew to throw away the book for the Jungle Book because the original concept storyboards were too dark and dramatic. So during the pre-production, he talked to the animator Larry Clemmings, sorry, to head the story development on the project, and he gave Clemmings a copy of the Jungle Book and then told him, the first thing I want you to do, don't read it. And I was like, why even give him the book?
Yeah.
Why even give him the book? But I thought that was interesting. Like,
Kind of like The Shining.
Yeah, I guess so.
So they're floating down the river. They're singing this bare necessity song. And then Mowgli is captured by some monkeys. He's like thrown like fine to fine by these monkeys. There's some, like I said, there's some monkey hijinks. They're swinging. Baloo is yelling for Bagheera's help. We then see the ancient ruins where we meet my dear friend King Louie, who's I think is the best character of this whole film.
Did you know that he was actually created specifically for this film?
So I want to talk about that in a second. But King Louie is the king of the monkeys, and he wants to become a man. He said he tells the man cub that he wants to become a man. Anything to add about him? I know you mentioned that he was made up for this film, which is awesome. Or anything you want to add else?
He was largely modeled around the eccentric personality of Louis Prima, who provided his voice. Prima, sorry. Who provided his voice. And then in the book, obviously, Mowgli is attacked by a band of monkeys, but that none of them have individual names or personality, and there is no mention of a chief monkey. Which, if you think about it, they were all just kind of like little jungle monkeys. They weren't orangutans, so he is like different all of his own just in that fact. And at one point he actually King Louie calls Mowgli cousin, and this is technically supposed to be like an accurate thing because in science we talk about how primates are cousins to humans. So
he does want to be a man cub. So he sings the best song in the movie to me, which is
I also agree.
He wants to be like you.
Yeah.
He wants to know the secret of man's red fire.
So I can't lie.
Man's red flower. That's man's red fire. Good.
Yeah. I don't know if you can still meet them. I'm assuming you can. We met them in 2018 when we went to Disney. So we have pictures of us with Baloo and Louie, and it's kind of weird. Like, why would they have those two together? But I was so excited to get to hug Louie because he is definitely he does have the best song. I would say Bare Necessities is definitely second, but
yeah. So Bagheera and Baloo, they break into the ancient ruins. Bagheera pretends to be a statue, and then Baloo dresses up as like a giant monkey, and he joins in on the song, and he's dancing with King Louie. But then his disguise falls off, and they all fight over Mowgli. It turns into like this very like slapstick fight. The ancient ruins crumble, but Baloo and Bagheera they escape, but they both get these giant black eyes. But they escape. Anything else to add so far? Keep going.
I thought it was funny, like you said, they both ended up with a black eye, and
you ever seen a bear with a black eye?
Yeah, and then Bagheera is pretty much just like berating Baloo on his actions and da da da. And Baloo's like, well, you know what? You don't look too hot yourself. And that's when he realizes he also has the blue eye or the black. Well, I guess blue. His was kind of bluish. Yeah.
That night, Bagheera convinces Baloo that the best thing for Mowgli is to go to the man village, no matter how much they love him, because Shere Khan is there and he hates man.
So just because I know you really enjoyed this ride and we're talking about them you're like, what? So when they're escaping, King Louie and the monkeys, the laughing of Brer Rabbit is heard during the laughing place sequence of Song of the South in 1946. It was reused in the Jungle Book when Baloo tickles King Louie while Baloo, Bagheera, and Mowgli are making their escape. Did you catch that? No. Okay. Well, that was a reused thing. So
how do you do? Rest in peace. So the next morning, Mowgli wants to have some fun, but Baloo does emotionally tell him that there's a plan to bring him back to the man village, and it's for his best.
Yeah.
Mowgli feels abandoned, and he runs off into the jungle alone.
Hmm.
We are then introduced to the tiger, Shere Khan, who is hunting through the jungle.
Hmm.
The elephant brigade, sorry, excuse me, is marching through as well.
Hmm.
And then we see that Bagheera is asking the elephant colonel for help to find the man cub, but this unfortunately allows Shere Khan to learn about the man cub.
Hmm.
And then I'm going to pass over to you about Shere Khan in a second. But then the colonel's wife, whose name you mentioned earlier, I forgot which it was, the sassy mother elephant, steps up to tell her husband that they need to assist to take care of the boy because he is no different than his son.
Yeah, but she also told him, because if you don't, I'll take your place.
Yeah. But unfortunately, this does allow Shere Khan to hear all of their plans. Mm-hmm. Would you like to talk about Shere Khan? Shere Khan is the vote now. I'm talking movies and movies and movies ago. I don't even remember what movie it was.
It was In Search of the Castaways.
In Search of the Castaways. I was like, this dude's voice is Shere Khan.
You nailed it. You definitely
I was like,
this
dude has the Shere Khan voice, because Shere Khan has like that very distinct, a foreign voice.
So, ironically, Shere Khan was modeled after George Sanders, who provided his voice.
Oh my god, he has like the perfect voice for it.
No, like I think after you said that and we looked it up, we did look at it, and you're like, he even kind of looks like him. Well, that's because he was made to look like him.
He has like the booming voice, and he's terrifying.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was gonna say scariest Disney villain so far, but no, because Maleficent's a thing. But go
ahead. Excuse me. What's his name? The scariest villain of them all. Why has his name left me? From Fantasia.
Oh, yeah.
Chernabog.
I almost said Gargamel, who's the villain from the Smurfs. So Chernabog, sorry. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So according to the DVD commentary on the film's 40th anniversary 2-disc Platinum Edition DVD release in 2007, most of the characters' appearances were based on their actors, but his is the most noticeable to look like him.
Mm-hmm. He's got that voice.
I want to see Baloo's. I never looked it up. I should have looked them up and said what it looked like.
Anything else about Shere Khan?
Well, just the fact that his stripes apparently were a nightmare for the animators.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything else on him. And then his name is supposed to be technically Chief of Tigers or something like that.
And as we know, when we were watching all
I always felt like he was kind of fancy, which is kind of funny because when you think about it, in Search of Castaways, that guy seemed like he was like super like high class, prim and proper, and that's kind of like the vibe I get from Shere Khan.
That's how he talks. But as we learned in our True Life Adventure films that we watched a bunch of years ago, the tiger is not to be messed with, and Shere Khan is not to be messed with.
Well, you know what? Bagheera is a cat in his own right.
We'll get there.
I swear I remember them fighting more too.
Nope. You're messing it up with the Lion King. But again, we're not going to have ourselves. But it doesn't matter.
I think I am.
Mowgli, he's running away, and he runs into Kaa again, Kaa the snake, who again tries to hypnotize him. He tells him that he can make him not have to leave the jungle, and Mowgli just has to trust him. Mm-hmm. He sings a song about trust in me,
which was originally written for Mary Poppins.
Okay, tell me more. Is that all you got?
No, so Kaa's song Trust in Me was originally written for Mary Poppins in 1964 as Land of Sand, but it was not used. So I'm assuming maybe it was the music, not really so much the words, because I was like, this would have not fit in there. So it had to have been like the music would have been pre-done.
Makes sense. So he sings Trust in Me, and he successfully hypnotizes Mowgli. But then Shere Khan arrives at the perfect time to talk to Kaa. He demands to see Kaa's coils because he's trying to find the man cub, but he's unable to find him. He whatever he ends up Kaa ends up hiding Mowgli, but then Kaa ends up getting thrown from the tree. Actually, it's a recut from earlier in the film with the exact same He
Preaches
yeah,
and
he like
crunches
he gets
of
like a
his
knot in, he
coils.
gets like a knot in his coils and he's like stuck trying to walk away.
Yeah.
But whatever. So then he gets away. Mowgli gets away, and then he goes to the bad part of of the forest, of the jungle, where he meets these vultures, who are arguing on what they want to do. Nobody wants to say what they want to do. Kind of like you and I when we're trying to get dinner.
Every single night.
And then
Every single night.
these I know you're going to talk about this more, but the
What do you
beetle,
wanna do?
the vultures. Yeah, what do you want to do?
What do you want to eat?
What do you want to do?
Well, what are you in the mood for?
What do you want to do?
Like,
But that's what these vultures are doing. But either way, these vultures are based off of the Beatles. Something to
which
add
one am
about
I?
that? What Beatle are you?
Yeah.
So you want to talk about these
I don't have
vultures?
a beetle.
I mean,
I wanted to know what my beetle
you're
was.
like the beetle that's like in the Mario video game that gets like stepped on and blows up. No, go ahead.
I thought you loved me. All right.
You're George, even though George passed away, but he kind of held it together.
George.
What do you want to be, Ringo?
Yeah, I liked Ringo the best. He was my favorite. He had a nice nose.
I mean, I guess.
He was my favorite Beatle. Anyway,
I was supposed to go see Ringo, and then the world shut down for COVID a few years ago.
that's what happens.
Well,
Anyway,
more than a few years
he's
ago
still
now.
alive, so you still have a chance.
He's old though, but yeah.
So
You wanna
so
talk
the
about these
vultures
yeah.
were originally going to be voiced by the Beatles. The band's manager approached Disney Studios about it, and Disney had his animators create the vultures specifically to be voiced by the band. But then their manager took the idea to the Beatles, and John Lennon is the one that shot it down. He was like, "No,
You want to hear a funny story?
Lennon ruins everything."
Well, I could have told you that, but you want me to tie it in here?
What?
The Beatles
Mm-hmm.
officially broke up at Walt Disney World because Lennon was on vacation with Yoko at the Polynesian, when he signed the documents at that room there by the pool that we saw when we walked there.
There you go, and that was
So the
Lennon's fault too.
Beatles officially broke up at Walt Disney World.
So,
I would assume a couple years after this.
yes. So then the manager told Disney, "You should hire Elvis Presley to do it instead." I don't know why his thought would have went to Elvis Presley, but whatever. But anyway, if you look at the vultures, they have their like mop top haircuts that they were famous for, and they have Liverpool voices as a homage to the Beatles. And one bird's voice and features are clearly based on George Harrison.
Mhm.
Can't believe you think
Sure.
I'd be George.
But anything else about the vultures?
So the song, That's What Friends Are For, was
Mhm.
originally supposed to be done as a rock and roll song. But when the Beatles departed from the project and decided, no, we're not doing this, the song was written to be more of like a barbershop quartet, and it's been a timeless piece to the movie ever since.
So speaking of that, I was just gonna get there. The vultures see a very sad and dejected Mowgli.
Mhm.
They sing a song about being friends and that's what friends are for, like you said.
Mhm.
A Disney storm is approaching. Their song.
Have we lost count of how many Disney storms we have?
I wish that they were in all of them, but then what was it? Song of the South killed it or whatever.
No.
Yeah, it was Song of the South, because Song of the South was the first movie that did not have it in it because I was mad because they sang a song about a storm and there was no storm.
But didn't she show up muddy?
Doesn't matter. There was no storm.
There was a storm. We just didn't see it.
Yeah, because they sang a song about a storm, but that was a long time ago.
Okay.
So they're singing the song, but then the song is creepily interrupted by Shere Khan, who's like, "That's what friends are for."
Yes.
Which is actually a line that they use in the fireworks at Walt Disney World.
Mhm.
So he interrupts them. Mowgli tries to stand up to Shere Khan, which is not going great. And Baloo also arrives at this time to try to stop the tiger. The vultures swing down to grab Mowgli away from the chasing tiger as the storm commences, causing a fire.
Ironically, speaking of Baloo, attacking Shere Khan, a tiger, when I was trying to exactly because I wanted to find out what a sloth bear actually looked like, so I did look this up, and there was a clip of a tiger sneaking up on a sloth bear, and I guess it thought it was going to eat this bear. And yeah, and apparently the sloth bear was like, "Oh no, you don't," and turned around and then ended up chasing the tiger off.
Wow. Well, it
Because I
missed.
guess the tiger mistaken or
Mm.
mistook that for an easy meal.
Well, speaking. So
And I
that's
feel like Baloo, like size wise in the movie, was so much bigger than Shere Khan.
well. Unfortunately, that is not how this goes.
I know.
So the storm causes a fire, which then Mowgli chases off Shere Khan with a stick on fire because that's what
It's this red fire.
that's the one thing that Shere Khan is afraid of is
Mhm.
man's fire, which makes sense why King Louis wanted it.
So he could rule everything.
But then, very sadly, we see that it's too late for poor Baloo, who is very wounded by the tiger fight. Um, Mowgli is mourning his best friend who fought for him till the end. Bagheera shows up and is consoling him in the rain. He talks about how they have to be very brave, like Baloo.
I know.
It's
He
a
says such
it's
nice things about Baloo.
he
He just
does.
builds him up after he's talked so much crap to Baloo.
It's a very sad scene. But then, as they are mourning Baloo, he wakes up and he's like, don't stop talking about me. You're telling me all
Yeah.
those great things.
Keep going, old baggy pants.
But then he this really
Oh.
excites everybody. Like Mowgli is very excited that his best friend is back.
Yeah.
Mowgli and Baloo, they embrace while the vultures celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
And then anything you want to add here before I keep going? The home stretch.
No, because my part's coming into that.
All right. So then Baloo is all excited because he's alive, and he says that nothing or no one will come between them again.
Mm-hmm.
But at that exact time, we hear a young female voice singing,
Mm-hmm.
and they run into to see a young girl going to the river of the man village, and Mowgli is infatuated with her.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to go for like a closer look, and he is infatuated with this. He nervously follows her like he's under cause hypnosis. Sorry, our personal Shere Khan Winston over here is messing with
Oh no, he's
our
definitely a Bagheera. Have
Yeah.
you seen his baggy belly?
So he is obsessed with her. He like following her like he's under cause hypnosis. Mowgli follows her to the village while Bagheera and Baloo are watching on. You know what? Go ahead and talk more about this because I'll stop him from doing what he's doing.
So, like you said, so he gets distracted and we hear this young girl singing. So the song she is singing is a song called My Own Home. And I don't know if you noticed it, but I tried to notice it once I read the fact. The song is actually woven throughout the film until the end when you actually hear her sing it,
It's in the beginning.
as it lures him into the man village.
Mhm.
So it's like in bits and pieces throughout the film, though. And I didn't catch that like as a kid, obviously.
Baloo is like wanting him to come back, but Bagheera is like, this is just the way it goes.
Yeah.
Like this, good for him. Mowgli has made his decision, and he officially enters the man village all by himself.
Yeah.
After all the time of them trying to get him to go, he does go all by himself. And then Baloo, they like wish him well, and then Baloo sings the bare necessities as the film ends.
Yeah.
I think that our synopsis right here was longer than this film. It's a very quick one. Disney, I'm not here to get ahead of ourselves because we we don't watch ahead. We truly don't. I wish we did more. We wish we were able to watch ahead more. But we just watched a 3-hour long film. We'll get there. But their animated films are just so short sometimes.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, the style of animation
Yeah,
that they
that's true.
did
Mhm.
back in that time took a lot longer to produce. So,
Yeah.
and think about if they didn't recycle any of the stuff
Yeah.
that they recycled, how much longer it would have taken. I mean, it's kind of amazing that they were able to do what they did
Mhm.
with all
It is
that.
beautiful. It's a beautiful animation. Thoughts, ranking?
The only fact that I had left was Bruce Ritherman. Is that how you say his name? That voiced Mowgli.
Okay.
I thought it was interesting that he later in life became a wildlife documentarian.
There you go. He watched those True Life Adventure films, changed his life.
He's like, I was Mowgli, dudes.
Thoughts, ranking?
I really enjoyed this. I feel like I enjoyed it more as an adult than I did as a child, and I liked it as a child. So IMDb gave it a 7.6 out of 10.
Okay.
I felt like that was kind of low for
It's
IMDb.
typical for IMDb, I guess. Yeah, I don't
But
know.
I feel like for this one, it was kind of low. I felt like, I don't know, I feel like it's a cult staple. But anyway, I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Okay. Anything you want to say about it? Any thoughts, or you want to just jump to the list upon a star?
So this movie is going to swing its way onto my list.
Okay.
I guess it's more Tarzan. Sorry. Not there yet.
I want to be like you.
Yeah. So
then where does it go on your list upon a star?
So Peter Pan's gonna fall off now.
Which is wild to me because that is a perfect film. Side note, KJ and I spent the entire day today making a Peter Pan puzzle, and we won my family's. My family does a contest where we see who can make a puzzle the fastest, and we won. But we had a little help. But either way, I love Peter Pan, and I can't believe it's off your list, but it's okay because I'll never let you live it down, I guess. Oh, good. It's gonna be above that darn cat. Dang, we're going high. Higher than the vultures. So, what is your list upon a star right now for those listeners?
Does that surprise you?
No.
No? Okay. So, my list upon a star now is 101 Dalmatians, The Parent Trap, Sleeping Beauty, Dumbo, The Jungle Book, Lady and the Tramp, That Darn Cat, The Three Caballeros, Moon Pilot, and The Shaggy Dog.
You have my dad's favorite animated movie above my mom's favorite animated movie, Jungle Book and Lady and the Tramp. But this is going to make my list upon a star too. I kind of went back and forth thinking about it. It's a good film. It's quick. It's beautifully animated. The story's good. King Louie's good. Baloo is good. Mowgli's a pain, but it gets there. I'm not going to go as high as you, but I am going to get rid of our dear friends, the Bullwhip Griffin from a couple weeks ago, or last time we watched.
Surprise, surprise.
That was a good film too, but I'm gonna go here because I don't want to put it above.
Oh my gosh!
I don't want to put it above Sleeping Beauty.
Really?
Yeah. I really like Sleeping. I like Sleeping Beauty on yours.
I know,
That's
but
a quick film too.
And you still have Snow White on there.
Yeah, dude, from the beginning.
We were listening to Disney music as we were putting the puzzles together, and we were all talking about how terrible we hated her voice.
Which is a throwback because that's the first thing that we reviewed, whatever, how many months ago. And I said that. I said, yeah. Gosh, her voice is not great. Oh, okay.
And it still holds up to this day. How we feel about it.
List upon a star is 101 Dalmatians, Mary Poppins, which is also perfect, Peter Pan, which is still on my list and is going to make a long run because I have a Peter Pan tattoo. Alice in Wonderland, Babes in Toyland, which is a must watch. Please watch it if you haven't. I love it so much. Pinocchio, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which has been in there since the beginning, Sleeping Beauty, and The Jungle Book, which we just watched today. So thank you for hanging out with us and watching The Jungle Book. What's
next?
We would love to hear from you. Again, we are on Spotify. We are on YouTube, where you could see I had to step away to help my cat from eating up our cords and stuff. And Faye, who joined us today. We are on Instagram. We like to keep things flowing over there. We're planning a couple trips to a couple different Disney theme parks coming up where we can do some fun things. But we would love to hear from you as well. Deep diving the magicpod@gmail.com. Next, we are going so far into the future to a film that was released on the exact same day as The Jungle Book. It was released as a double feature in some places.
Okay.
So released on October 18th, 1967, which is the exact same day as The Jungle Book.
Okay.
It is film number 86 or 85, whatever one you were wondering. We just did The Jungle Book first. And it is called Charlie the Lonesome Cougar. Will we like that half of the double feature more than this half of the double feature? Join us next time to find out.
Thanks for deep diving the magic.
Bye.
Bye.